preventing the interception gameplay slider from significantly impacting the catch frequency for defenders. This is the biggest issue that we have seen for Madden so far. What is up, everybody? Floopydonkey here, and Madden 23 finally released a much needed update, supposedly the biggest one ever, and it's supposed to fix the majority of things. We know Madden 23 has been unplayable, so in this video, we're just going to talk about the gameplay updates and franchise updates. I don't cover MUT, any of that stuff, so if that's what you're interested in, you're not going to get it in this video, but let's go ahead and talk about the gameplay updates. Blocking. So fixed an issue with pass block targeting, resulting in an interior pass rusher being left unblocked when the defense would use a specific pre-snap setup in the 4-3, even 61 formation. So we have seen from time to time, not time to time, seems like always, interior pass rush is pretty much unblockable. And I talked about this in the beta. You can go back and watch my beta videos. It's been a problem since the beta. They're just now getting around to fixing it. We're going to have to see if that gets fixed or not. Second thing, fixed an issue with pass block targeting that would allow edge rushers to be unblocked when pinching the defensive line in and bringing down the safety on nickel over Storm Brave versus pass block running. So we just get some more pass block issuing or pass block fixes for your edge rushers or for your tackles. So far, two big things. Blocking's been fixed. Improved blocking release logic for tight ends so that they don't release so quickly in scenarios where there is a rusher for him to block. Also improved blocking animations so they are better at engaging or impact blocking rushers on collision. So now we'll see tight ends hopefully engage with these edge rushers, linebackers, defensive ends when applicable. So we'll have to see. It seems like so far, these are all things that, of course, are needed. Fixed an issue with the pass block targeting, allowing an unblocked rusher when the defense would pinch their linebackers and sit a linebacker in the gap. And this is for the $3-2 spinner play. Changed quarterback contain assignment logic, so second-level defenders, stack linebackers, and defenders lined up in those positions will not be allowed to be assigned QB contain. And then the last thing is fixed an issue with pass block targeting, allow a defensive end to be unblocked out of the nickel over blitz. So it looks like they went in and fixed a lot of things. They fixed interior blocking, edge blocking, quarterback contain blocking. They also went in and fixed tight end blocking. So all of those were very much needed. We'll see how this impacts our franchise playthroughs and how the AI will actually pick up on a lot of these things. Also, we'll see how that impacts our sliders, because remember, I do create sliders. If you're interested in that and trying to make Madden better, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't ever miss any of those videos. Next is catching. Man, there's probably a lot here. Yeah, look at all this. Holy crap. All right, let's keep going here. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. All right, catching. Fixed an issue causing multiple mid-air interaction animations to trigger before the ball arrived, causing the receiver to miss the ball. I've seen that time to time. Not really a big thing. Obviously, I don't control my wide receivers in my playthroughs because I just like to let the animations and the AI take over, but obviously AI has been broken, so it's been kind of an unenjoyable experience. The second thing, tuning to catching for wide receivers to catch less tipped balls. Don't know how I really feel about that. I haven't seen that being a big issue. This seems to be more for head-to-head, competitive play. I really haven't seen that a lot when I've been playing my franchise. Next thing, fixed an issue preventing the interception gameplay slider from significantly impacting the catch frequency for defenders. This is the biggest issue that we have seen for Madden so far. Interceptions have been ridiculous. And people were saying, well, you make a bad mistake, you should be penalized. Yes, but not every single time. How many times do quarterbacks make bad passes and the defender drops the ball? They don't always get penalized with an interception, okay? And we can't actually change that whatsoever with the gameplay slider for interceptions, and that's what it's there for. So they finally fixed that, hopefully. We'll have to go in here and actually see what, if at all, it's been changed or not. Next thing, fixed a catching animation issue causing running backs to turn the wrong way when they catch coming out of the backfield. I see that for running backs. I also see that for tight ends. So it's going to be interesting. Did that fix both of those? But that was also a big fix. Fixed a catching animation preventing receivers from attempting a catch, asking for a run after the catch on a smoke screen. Next one, fixed a catching animation causing the receiver to use an effort catch on a catchable pass. Fixed a catching animation issue causing the receiver to sometimes use a possession catch when requesting run after the catch. So it seems like there's been a lot of input errors, like you would try to do run after the catch and you don't get that outcome. And then the last one on catching is fixed an issue preventing defenders from playing a knockout in some situations where one was being requested. Now that is obviously the biggest thing there. That's probably going to help out a little bit with the AI intercepting the ball as much. We'll have to see. Hopefully that will help out. All right, next, ball carrier and tackling. No, when the game first released, tackling was kind of abysmal. Obviously, the slider for tackling, I had to increase almost all the way up to 80 from where it was at 50 to help solidify more tackles happening. So we'll see what this happens with this. Fixed an issue sometimes causing ball carriers to juke in the incorrect direction when holding the ball in their left hand. Okay, so that's more for the ball carrier. Fixed an issue allowing ball carriers with no stamina remaining to engage in stand-up tackles. Updated stand-up tackle indicators provide feedback in more appropriate locations based on the mode and camera angle being used. Also updated stand-up tackle indicators in skills trainers. Okay, so this is helping out whenever you get tackled and you're in that battle and you're pressing X. One of the biggest things was with that was you're always seeing a lot of fumbles with that, and I'm not seeing that, you know, in this so far. We'll see if it's in one of these next two. Tuning to the juke hurdle combo animations to ensure the height and speed of the animations is appropriate. Okay. And then lastly is tuning to pursuit when using the strip ball mechanic to reduce oversteering the defender away from the ball. Okay, so they really didn't touch too much on the stand-up tackling with the fumbles. I feel like that happens a little too much. Obviously they didn't think that was an issue right now, but you can adjust it with the fumble slider, so maybe it's okay. Next thing, pre and post play. Fixed an issue sometimes causing the ball carrier to point in the wrong direction during some first down celebrations. Wow. Fixed a rare issue causing a player to sometimes be frozen after the play. I've actually seen that quite a few times. I wouldn't say that's a rare issue. Fixed an issue causing players to improperly switch positions before the play in online SSKO games when using audible or play flipping. Fixed an issue allowing the offense unlimited hot routes without the quarterback playing a corresponding animation while sending a receiver in motion. And then lastly is fixed a stadium issue causing media members on the sidelines to clip through the stadium walls in specific directions. And again, we've seen those happen quite a lot. Next is the general fixes, and then we finally get to the franchise updates. General fixes. Fix an issue causing the roar of the crowd dynamic gameplay modifier to force a route to go backwards. I have seen that happen, and it's probably happened to you before. Fix an issue sometimes allowing the offense to see the defensive zone art on head-to-head games. Don't play head-to-head. I haven't really seen that happen. Fixed a rare issue causing the offensive coach cam art to persist on the field during the play. Fixed an issue sometimes causing fade routes to break after a long breast animation by the defender. Fixed an issue causing the safety in a curl flat assignment to motion out wide with a halfback motion to an outside receiver position instead of the outside depth third cornerback. That was a mouthful right there. So a lot of these are just kind of like, it says general fixes, but some of this can be put in like pre-snap things. Fixed an issue causing the rushing averages shown in next-gen stat presentation to be incorrect. Fixed an issue preventing sacks from being counted correctly in the medium NFL blitz drill in the gauntlet. And then they fixed an issue preventing pass conditions from tracking correctly in skills trainer gauntlet pass leading challenges. So a lot of that didn't really apply to, this is more of like gauntlet head-to-head things. Now, finally, we get to franchise updates. And so far for me, the interceptions was the biggest problem. And it seems like they kind of helped out with the tuning in that. I don't think they really fixed the interception problem, but they made sure that the slider hopefully will impact what you kind of want to happen. Meaning that if, you know, we think the interceptions happen too much, we can turn down that slider and hopefully we won't get as many. We'll have to see. Hopefully they prioritize that you'll get more pass deflections with that. All right, franchise updates. Fixed a disconnect issue that was impacting a high volume of users in franchise and face of the franchise dev note. This was leading to issues with losing progress due to being disconnected and users unable to progress in face of the franchise at contract negotiation points. This was happening. A lot of times it happened when you simmed. If you simmed multiple weeks or maybe even a whole year, if you're doing like a rebuild or something, it seems like you would always disconnect. And sometimes it saved, sometimes it didn't. So hopefully they fixed that. Fixed an issue where CPU teams would immediately end negotiations with a player if they don't have the cap space to negotiate them. Hopefully this will fix some of the like big free agents that were available during the free agency period. Dev note says if the CPU team does not have enough cap space to make an offer for a player during in-season re-signing, they will now wait to make a final decision until the off-season re-sign period. This waiting period will allow for additional opportunities in cap movement to occur that may result in a team gaining enough cap space to make an offer late. Meaning that currently what was happening is that if the team didn't have enough cap space now in the middle of the season and they couldn't sign like their top quarterback, they would just, in negotiations, and they never would even think about trying to re-sign them. Now it's saying that they're giving the CPU an option to try to re-sign them during the offseason period by either, making trades, cutting players, maybe not re-signing some others. And then that frees up cap space for them to sign those high target acquisitions. Hopefully that fixes some of the big free agents from being in the free agency pool. Fixed an issue where CPU teams weren't targeting players during a re-sign as expected, and it's kind of what we just alluded to. DevNote says a new set of player targeting logic was developed. Okay, that's interesting. For CPU-controlled teams to improve decision-making when determining who should be attempted to re-sign each year. The logic better differentiates between elite, developing, and depth player, resulting in the CPU making more of an effort to first secure their starters and developing young players before looking to fill any depth or hold on aging players. So what it means is they're going to prioritize signing elite players and then young starters and developing young good players. So that's what they're going to prioritize instead of trying to go after, depth and aging veterans. So you're probably going to see more aging veterans in the free agency pool, or you're going to see players where the team had maybe really good wide receivers and they had a fourth or fifth string wide receiver who's an 80 overall. They don't need him, but he might be good, but they just don't need him because of a depth issue. So, that is actually more realistic to what kind of the NFL does every year. Fix an issue where using a skill point on the playmaker archetype was not increasing the correct attributes. Really probably don't need to go into depth in that. Fix an issue where the top threat was sometimes a player that didn't make sense. We saw that all the time, especially for quarterbacks. You might say it would be scrambling and it would be the backup quarterback, or you would say your top threat was, quarterback A, but actually quarterback B was starting. And that really kind of messed up things and how you game plan. Again, took the immersion out of the game for you. Fixed an issue where a player's name and position would appear as a macro in the goals hub after completing a scenario goal. Fixed an issue where goals were sometimes incorrectly showing as completed in the end of the game flow. Fixed an issue where some players' abilities did not match what they had in the front end. Fixed an issue where the Rams NFC and Super Bowl champions were doubled. Fixed a crash that would occur when loading into formation subs without a head coach. Fixed an issue where players on the injured reserve were able to be used to get trade offers. Fixed an issue causing the wrong name to be shown on players' jerseys in some franchise scenario scenes. Of course, we saw that. We also saw the wrong jerseys. We've seen the practice jerseys come in. So I wonder if that includes all of that. Fixed an issue causing all team gear in scenarios to appear as the Buccaneers after relocating a team, retiring, and then taking control of the same team. Wow, didn't see that happen. Of course, there's some face of the franchise updates, some Madden Ultimate Team updates, the yard updates. There's some other stuff here, uniform updates. They updated the black helmet for the Eagles alternatives, the Jets black helmet, the Cowboys white helmet for the color rush. They added new cleats. There are new stadium upgrades for the Browns, the Steelers, the Rams, the Bears, the Bengals, and the Giants. And then lastly, they have some presentation UI updates. So you can read all this stuff. I won't go into great detail with a lot of that. Most of it seems to be just kind of polished updates to the user interface. Is that enough? Madden says this is one of the biggest updates ever. My personal opinion, if the blocking and the interception problem has been fixed, at least to where we can ourselves change the sliders, then it's a win. And if they removed a lot of the glitches, it's a win, right? The biggest thing was that for franchise, you just didn't, you couldn't make a mistake. Your offensive line didn't block, and then you would obviously get sent back to the previous offseason. If those three things are fixed, I do think this Madden is now playable. Does it still make it, worth the money that you paid for? At this point, if you've already bought it, then I definitely would say no. I think they're also selling for 30% off. So if you're interested in buying it now that they've put out this big update and it's on sale, maybe it's worth the buy, for less, almost at half price. But if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you want me to make sliders now, and I will, make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss that video, because I will have to update my sliders based off of what they said. I'll catch everybody later. Peace out.